Well, good morning, everybody. Happy Sunday to you. I'm so happy that you're here today, that you're part of this celebration. And I want to speak to you today if you feel like you lack self-confidence in life. I mean, because quite frankly, most of us lack confidence in at least some area of our life. For example, a lot of us, it's the way we look, right? There's nobody that I can think of that would say, look at me. 100% solid gold going on right here, ladies. There's nobody in this room that say, if I could just gain 10 more pounds, if I could just get one more skin blemish, it would be so much easier to stay humble. No, instead, most of us wrestle with some types of feelings of insecurity, of a lack of confidence. And what's funny is, when we do, we always behave in these predictable ways. In fact, there are 3 ways that people compensate for their insecurities. First of all, we've got the people in life who are the people pleasers. These are the people that will do anything, they will say anything to try to get you to like them. I mean, I'm just curious, how many of you know some people pleasers in your life? Let me see a show of hands. Well, you know what's funny? You all raised your hand right now, and I'll bet you some of you raised your hand so that I would like you. Congratulations, you're a people pleaser. And then there are the fishers. These are the people who are always fishing for a compliment. It's like the person who wakes up in the morning and puts a kind of morose-looking picture of themselves. They post the picture and say, I feel blah today. That's the caption. So that everybody they've ever known for their entire life who's friends with them on Facebook will get on and say, no, you're awesome. We all love you so much. Have a great day. This is the kind of person who does their presentation at work, and then they walk out of the room and they say to all their coworkers, I was awful today, wasn't I? I could have done much better. So all of your friends will say, no, you knocked it out of the park. You were so good, really. And I have to admit, I can be a bit of a fisher myself from time to time, like every Sunday morning. I want to say to you as you're leaving, I want to say, so how was it today? What part of the service did you think was absolutely amazing this morning? And what I really mean to say is, so how did my sermon transform you for the rest of your life? That's what I want to be saying. And then here's my favorite kind. There's the one-uppers. These are the people, you probably know a one-upper. These are the people who always, whenever you tell a story, they've got something bigger. They've got something better. Something more dramatic has happened to them in their life. I mean, maybe it's just something small. Like you said, I'm so proud of my son because he read an entire chapter of the Bible last night. And the one-upper has to say, oh yeah? Well, my son memorized a chapter of the Bible in Hebrew. Okay? These are the kind of people that say, you just say like, I'm so excited about ready to leave on a 3-day vacation, jetting out of here for warm weather in Florida. And the person has to say, oh yeah? Well, I'm going to go on a 3-month vacation to an island I just bought, right? Or they've always got a story that's more dramatic than your story. You just happen to say something like, I was so sick this week. And they say, oh yeah? I was not only sick, I almost died. I had this disease last week. Yeah, nobody's ever had this disease before. I'm the first one ever to have this disease. They're probably going to name the whole thing after me. These are the one-uppers. And see, the funny thing is we all do this, and we all know people like this. And when we lack self-confidence, we do these crazy things to compensate. And worse than that, a lack of self-confidence can just hold us back from so many good things in life. Because we don't even want to try. We didn't have the confidence to even put ourselves out there at all. For example, when I was a kid, let's say when I was in junior high school, I was very, very interested in girls. Still am. The thing was, though, if you think I'm bad now, in junior high school, I really didn't know how to act around girls. I mean, I was very awkward, never knew what to say or do. And so, as a result of that, I never asked a girl out because I was afraid, she might turn me down. Even if the girl liked me, even if she called me up on the phone and said, would you please go with me to the prom? I'll pay for your tux and everything. I'd be like, no, can't do that. Because I was afraid to get myself in a situation where I would feel awkward and out of place. Well, then finally, like in 9th grade, something like that, all the girls are coming up to me saying, so-and-so likes you. And you know, you never talk directly in 9th grade. It's always these layers and layers of friends. And so their friends would say to my friends, if he would ask her out, she would go out. My friends would say, are you sure of this? Did you hear it yourself? Oh, yeah, my friend talked to her friend who said, you know, practically sure about this. So that Saturday, some friends were going hiking. And so I invited this girl. And on that cold October afternoon, hiking in the wilderness of upstate New York, old Jeff made his move. I still remember the moment. I remember the moment we're kind of walking down this mountain stream, climbing over the rocks, and all of a sudden she turned and faced me. And our faces were close together, and our eyes were locked together, and neither one of us knew what to say. And so I told myself, Jeff, you're going to go for it. And so I shut my eyes, I puckered my lips, and I leaned forward, and I went for it. And at that moment, old Jeff got the first kiss of his life. It was her first kiss, too. Now, thinking about it right now, romantic? Not so much. What I remember about it, first of all, I told you it was a cold day. We had these great big puffy coats on, these winter coats, and big gloves on. So I'm trying to put my arms around this big marshmallow kind of thing, right? And I remember that because it was cold out, her lips and my lips, both of them were very dry and chapped. And I didn't know how to kiss a girl. The only thing I knew about kissing girls is what I saw on TV. I mean, back in those days, what they showed on TV. And so all I knew is you kind of put your lips together, and I thought I'd just move my head a certain way. So it's kind of like pucker up, and then go like something like this. And my most distinct memory of this moment, this pivotal moment in my life, was as soon as I kissed her, my nose began to run. Now, to this day, if I get the possible chance, just the possibility that Kathy might kiss me, I line up the antihistamines, the decongestant, the Kleenex, the winter gloves, and the breath spray. Just saying. Awkward. Well, the tragedy is there are so many people listening to me today who are acting like they're still in 9th grade. They're not making their move. They're not out there living the life that God has set up for them. They're not out there loving the life that could be theirs because they lack the confidence to even give it a try. You're letting your insecurity talk you out of so many good things in life. And it happens all the time. There may be someone here this morning who doesn't want to try for a promotion at work, who doesn't want to interview for a better job because they're saying, well, probably somebody else would get it anyway. Probably I wouldn't get the job and it'd be somebody else's. There may be someone here today who's not going back to school or for job training because you're telling yourself you'll probably be the oldest one in the group and you'll feel out of place. There may be someone here who's thinking about trying youth group or thinking about trying one of our Bible study groups, but you don't know who's going to be there. And you're afraid that if you go there, you know, you might not fit in or you might feel awkward. Well, dude, you're not in 9th grade anymore. You're not going for something good just because you lack the confidence. So if you lack confidence, let me just give you this big thought for today. You don't need self-confidence. You need God confidence. Here's what the Bible says. Forget about self-confidence. It's useless. Cultivate God confidence. Self-confidence is going to take you a long way in life, no doubt about it. But God confidence will take you even further. It's even more powerful to know that I'm confident that my God is on my side all the way. every single day, all the way. In fact, here are three things that you should know, that you should tell yourself over and over and over again until they become a part of your thinking, and that it'll jack up your confidence. First of all, tell yourself, my God is always for me. First thing in the morning, just say, it's going to be a great day because my God is always for me. To cultivate God confidence, I need to recognize and internalize that fact. You see, a lot of people have an inaccurate view of God. They have an inaccurate view of the nature and character of God. They think that God's love for them is tied to their performance. And because of that, they think anytime I'm not perfect, anytime I blow it big time, I better not expect anything good from God. But the reality is this. The reality is our God is a loving Father, the most loving Father that you can imagine. And He always wants good things for His kids. I mean, how many of you are parents? I'm a parent. And you know what? Sometimes I'm proud of my kids and sometimes I'm not proud of them. But I never wish them harm. As a dad, I never wake up in the morning and say, I hope something bad happens to one of my kids today. I never wake up in the morning and say, I'm going to follow my child around all day today and try to catch them doing something wrong so I have a good reason to give them a good old-fashioned whipping. Never. Never. Always. Every day of my life, I want good things for my children. I want my children to be blessed and happy and healthy and whole. And even if I can't support all their decisions, if I don't support everything they do, I am for my children, always and forever. And God is always for you. And folks, the Bible tells us, if God is for us, who can ever stand against us? There is no power on this earth greater than my God. And if I know God is for me, that means that I know with absolute confidence that I'm going to be able to handle anything life throws at me. You know, I heard about this great baseball player, young man with tremendous skills, just naturally very, very gifted. And he should be because his father used to play in the major leagues and he was like coached from birth to play baseball. Well, the problem was every time his dad showed up at a game, he'd start dropping the ball. He would start striking out. And what it was is he wanted his father's approval so much that he would tighten up. He would just choke when his father walked into the stadium. Finally, his dad realized what was going on. So before a game, he came up to him and said, son, I just want you to know, I don't care if you drop the ball. I don't really care if you strike out or not. Because, son, I just plain love you because I'm your dad and you're my child. And I'm always going to love you. And I tell you, from that moment on, everything changed in that young man's life. And he started hitting home runs. And he started playing at the peak of his performance. Why? Because from that moment on in his life, he wasn't playing for his father's approval anymore. He was playing from his father's approval. And that made all the difference. And when you get an accurate view of God, of the nature and character and personality of your God, everything's going to change for you. You see, I'm super confident because I know that my Heavenly Father is always for me. And so I'm not living for His approval, I'm living from His approval. And I am acceptable to God not based on anything I do or don't do. I'm totally acceptable to God based on what Jesus Christ did. And so when I step up to the bat in life, knowing my Heavenly Dad is going to love me no matter what, I can just relax and swing at it with all my might. And I'll tell you what, I'm going to hit more than you can imagine right out of the park. I'm confident because my God is always for me. And more than that, second thing is, my God always helps me. He's not only on my side, He's willing to help me every single day. Now, I don't know who needs to hear this morning. Maybe somebody all the way in the back of the church right now, and you think, I can't see your face that clearly, and I don't know what's going on in your life right now. But I'll tell you this much. God knows exactly what struggles you're facing right now, and God wants to tell you this morning. You're going to get through this. You're going to be okay, because I'm willing to help you. In fact, our God says to us, never will I leave you. Never will I forsake you. And so we say with confidence, the Lord is my helper. I will not be afraid. And I tell you, it's good to have a helper. A guy like me, I need a helper. I need a helper even for the little things in life, the simple things in life. For example, I don't know how to repair a thing. If something goes wrong in my home, we're in dead water if my wife can't repair it. Because I don't know how to repair things. I can't fix things. I can't even fix a sandwich. I can't make things. The only thing I've ever been able to make in life is a mistake. Now, I want to be the guy who fixes things. I do. I think it would be terrific if I had a great big tool belt that I could strap on and walk around my house every day wearing this tool belt, twirling hammers like this. I know that Kathy'd want to kiss me even more then. I mean, I know she really, down deep inside, she wants that kind of man in her house, right? And here's the problem, though. I don't know any of that stuff. For example, I brought my wrench here this morning. I don't know what to do with this thing. I take a look at this wrench right now. You know what the first thing comes to my mind? Grecian statue. Or I think I look at it and I think, you know what? I feel very patriotic. Bring me your huddled masses. You're poor and you're weary. Or maybe if I don't, if this whole public speaking thing doesn't work, I could maybe get a job at an airport. I don't know. How do they do that? I don't know. You see what I'm saying right now. But here's the problem. About a month ago, true story, about a month ago, I had all these little things that were broken in my home just adding up. You know what I mean? And I had to get it taken care of. And so I'm getting so stressed out. Stress. I'm all worried about how to get this taken care of. And I'm staying awake at night trying to figure out things like, how do I get the light bulbs changed without paying somebody to do it? Think of things like that. So I called my buddy from church, my buddy Harry. He's right here in the service right now. I say, Harry, I got all these problems in my life. What would you say I should do? He said, Jeff, I'll just come to your house and I'll do it for you. Now all of a sudden I've got no stress, I've got no worries, I've got great confidence because Harry's going to come help me. I mean, Harry, he's an engineer. He can figure out anything. I'm telling you, Harry could build my entire house out of toothpicks, duct tape, and WD-40. I'm sure of it. So I've got no worries, I've got no fears, I've got this great confidence. Things are going to be going well in my house from now on. Why? Because Harry is my helper, I will not fear. I want you to be able to say, the Lord is my helper, I will not fear. And there's some of you right now, we're all laughing, having a great time this morning, but I know you're going through some tremendously difficult situations in your life. And right now you've got this family situation. Or right now you're facing a difficult decision and you're not sure which direction to go. Or maybe you've got this hard conversation that you're going to have with somebody. Well, here is what the living God says to you this morning. Never will I leave you. Never will I forsake you. And so we say with confidence, the Lord is my helper, I will not be afraid. Not just self-confidence, that's God confidence that you got inside of you. Because I know my God is always for me. My God is always willing to help me. And one more, my God is working in me. He's not only working on me, He's working in me. You see, I'm a work in progress. You're a work in progress. Ma'am, your husband is definitely a piece of work. And that's why this book of ours says, be confident of this. God who began this good work in us, in you, will carry it to completion. That's such good news for somebody like me. Why, I remember this one day. Absolutely true story I'm telling you this morning. One afternoon, I had this guy at my house looking at my septic tank. And he came to the door, and he knocked on the door, and he said the words that nobody ever wants to hear. He said, we've had to get the bulldozer here and open all this up, and buddy, you've got to come out here and take a look at this. Now, I'm pretty sure I don't want to go out there and take a look at this. I'm pretty sure there's nothing good waiting for me down there. I'm pretty sure that that's why we dig holes and bury the stuff. There's nothing from heaven living down there in that hole in my front yard. But he says to me, hey, buddy, you got to see this. So I said, all right, let me get my wrench. So I followed him out. So I follow him out the door, and I go up to the hole. I'm looking at it like this. He said, you see that? And I'm like, what am I looking at? He said, you see, nothing's draining from that. I said, okay. So he said, okay, buddy, let me show you. So he gets this big hose off his truck, unwinds it, brings it over. He sticks the end of it in that hole, and he says, watch this. Nothing's really draining. He turns on the water for that hose. I'm watching the water make its way through the hose, going across my yard into that hole. And as soon as it hits that hole, well, sure enough, nothing's draining. So I'm looking like this, and when the water hits, it explodes up 15 feet in the air. The sewage flies. Now, I got it now all in my face. It's covering my hair. It's on my suit that I'm wearing. Now, wait, just to tell you the whole story, it gets even better. I was supposed to leave for the church within 5 minutes to do a wedding rehearsal. No, wait, it gets even better. It was a wedding rehearsal for my own daughter. We were supposed to have the wedding rehearsal, then go out to this nice restaurant, a nice, fancy, expensive restaurant. And by the way, I'm all for expensive restaurants in that case because it's the groom's family that pays. So anyway, I'm wearing my most formal black suit. My shoes are polished. I'm all ready to go out there, and this is going to be an unforgettable moment in our family. And now I'm dripping wet with sewage. Now you're wondering what I did. I may have said a very, very bad word. I'm not going to tell you which one. It may have been very, very descriptive of what I was now wearing. And I think I said it very, very loud. Now, I'm sorry. I apologize to you. I understand why you're never coming back to this church. And I don't blame you. I'm a very bad pastor. But I told you this a long time ago. Before I was ever a pastor, I was a human being. And sometimes it still comes out of me. But the good news is this. God isn't finished with me yet. If you're saying, I don't know about this character at the front of the church, God isn't done with me yet. Be patient with me. God's still working on this guy. And maybe you need to know this. Because maybe when you think about your life sometimes, you feel like it's just a mess. Maybe something even happened this week and you're feeling guilty and you're feeling ashamed. Well, you need to understand something. God is still working in you. So lighten up. Cut yourself a break. I don't know what you're going through today. I don't know what voices of insecurity have been whispering in your ear. But I know that God who began this good work in you will carry it to completion. Why? Because He's always for you. He's always helping you. And He's still working in you. And that is a darn good reason to stay positive and be confident. Let's bow our heads and pray together now. And maybe you could make these words the words of your prayer. God, I'm going to be honest with you. I often feel insecure and inadequate. And I need more confidence in my life. Not just self-confidence, but God confidence. I know that I should be the most incredibly confident person because you are always for me. You're my Father, and I'm your child, and you love me. I'm not living for your approval. I'm living from your approval. You always help me. I look at my life right now, and I can see some mighty big challenges, but this is what you said to me. Never will I leave you. Never will I forsake you. And so I say with confidence, the Lord is my helper. I will not be afraid. And Lord, when I do mess up, help me to remember that you're not finished with me yet. I'm a work in progress. And with your help, every day I'm getting better, stronger, smarter, more mature. Every day, more and more, I think I'm starting to bring glory to your name. And so I pray in the name of the most confident man who ever walked the face of this earth, Jesus. Jesus, the Lord of life and defeater of death. Amen.